on your best pal when she's here.
Who's here?
She's here,
Doris Dear.
It's Doris with a content man. She's the perfect housewife and her Rumpus Room might have a man.
Now, maybe.
It's Doris and her dear friends. They live up in the sky, but for the chance to sing and dance, her friends might also buy. It's Doris. It's Doris Dear. She's that girl on the street. She'll show up with a sweet. You'll adore when she knocks on your door. 'Cause her fun, it's Doris Dear's Talk.
Hi everyone, Doris Dear, America's perfect housewife here. Welcome back to the Rumpus Room. Now you've heard me talk about my parents Taffy and Duke and growing up in the Rumpus Room in our house in Staten Island. Well, let me tell you, they were really something. Taffy, well, she always told me I could have any life I wanted. And I asked Mom, how do I find that someone special to make my dreams come true like you found Duke? And of course, she pointed me right to her stack of magazines. Well, I asked her, wait, Better Homes and Gardens is gonna get me a man? And she said, no, Better Homes and Gardens will help you keep a man. But to find one, you look to the Hollywood magazines. Yes, because those Hollywood types really know the secret to long, happy marriages. Like, for example, that star with the perpetual tan. Oh, here he is, George Hamilton. Remember him? Well, dears, he says that a woman is often like a strip of film, insignificant until a man puts a light behind her. Yeah. Or the bald one, remember The King and I? Yul Brynner. Here he is on the cover of Collier's magazine. Well, he says that the one thing a woman doesn't have to be is logical. Thanks, Yul. Now listen, Taffy never had problems attracting handsome men. Duke, after all, was a star athlete. Taffy was a successful model in her day. Oh, she appeared on all the runways and in the magazines. Oh yeah, true beauty. Tall and statuesque for her day. She was a full 5'8" beauty. And she was told by her agents that not to worry about those glaring defects like her height. Oh, instead, turn those defects into assets. Good advice today. Adopt the daring fashions of the day. Carry yourself like a queen. Well, you can see I followed that bit of advice. Oh, by the way, speaking of, do you love my outfit? Isn't it darling? It's fabulous. I am a girl who likes a handsome print. Yes, I love a handsome print. Don't you? Now listen, when Taffy married Duke, well, it really seemed like they had everything. They were two of the most beautiful people, the model and the athlete. And I loved watching them be in love. Now, Taffy adored Duke. Oh, you know, Taffy gave up all her modeling career for Duke. He made all her dreams come true. Taffy and Duke truly were in love. They loved together, they drank together, and boy, did they smoke together. Taffy would rather fight than switch. Oh, but remember, it was good for you back then. Yeah. Listen, I would watch her, you know, sit there and listen to Duke and every word he said. An interested woman is interesting. That was Taffy, and that's my mom. Now remember, I'll have all my tips, my recipes, my stories, everything will be on my website at www.dorisdear.com/Gurl, Gurl-talk. Oh, who could that be?
Doris Dear, it's Benny. I'm here.
All right, Benny, masks off. We're safe. Just so you know, we got tested, we did temperatures, and we have masks. All good. We're COVID safe. How are you?
I'm good. Can we drink now? Or are
Wait,
we allowed
Benny
to?
Benack III. That's like a whole, that's going to take up the entire screen. Benny Benack III, which I'm sure you like. So today I made us a special drink. I lived in Denmark for several years, and this is an Aquavit old-fashioned.
I'm excited.
So cheers, my friend.
Thank you for
cheers.
this one.
Thanks for being in Doris Dear's Girl Talk in the Rumpus Room.
Super good.
Right?
Super
Aquavit.
good. Who'd have thought? Who'd have
like
thought?
this. All right.
Very refreshing.
So welcome to the Rumpus Room.
Thanks for having me.
you know, of course, I went on the Google. We love the Google, especially for someone my age. You're like I think you're the youngest guest we have.
I'll take it. I'm turning 30 in a couple months, so I'm facing that. It's good to be called young. I'll take that.
Well, believe me, I'm more than double that.
Okay,
so
good.
you're a third in a generational line of Pittsburgh jazz notables. You follow the footsteps of your grandfather was a trumpeter and band leader as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Benny Benack Sr. and his father, Benny Benack Jr. So your grandfather, your father, you.
That's right.
Natural. And I actually saw you at your album release at Izzy's with your dad.
Yeah, he came to town from Pittsburgh. He came up.
And that was really awesome. I love that because I'm all about family and celebrating my mom and my dad and how I am, my journey of being
Of course. Yeah, it's nice too. And if I go home for Christmas, you know, my mom, she's a vocalist, Claudia, everybody gets on stage. We all do our little Partridge Family shtick, you know. It's
That's
nice.
awesome.
It's really nice. It is.
So wait, you just told me your mom teaches at Carnegie Mellon?
Yeah, she's been there for many years. So, you know, I grew up like getting piggybacks from, you know, the Broadway stars of tomorrow, and you know, I grew up around the theater. I'm Broadway adjacent, I like to say, which is why, you know, the kind of cabaret world is where we cross paths.
Yeah, we crossed paths doing a Frank Sinatra salute, and you got up and I was like, who is this guy?
Well, you got up. I don't even know how you could walk in those heels you had on, but you did it fabulously.
That was great. You were amazing. And I read, so you're from Pittsburgh. Oh, you front Postmodern Jukebox sometimes on tour and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, we did like a big world tour last fall, and like little did we know that would be like the last time I'd be touring the world for a little while. So that was super fun. You know.
Yeah, I saw them when they were playing Little Rooms in New York, and then they were like selling out Radio City or something. It was like this immediate, like sort of climb, which was pretty.
But
awesome.
it's so cool because it just introduces a whole new generation of people who would not be listening to jazz and swing music otherwise, and then they go to that show and they realize they like it, and you know, maybe they go buy a Doris Day recording after that, you know, as we try and
you have a cheerleader.
Well,
come on, if a show's got a cheerleader, I'm going. That's what I'm saying. So you just did an album release right before COVID sort of happened. That was what I saw.
At Lincoln Center, yeah.
That's amazing. That album's fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
I love you do from the children's show. You do that song.
Mr. Rogers.
The Mr.
We
Rogers.
do the theme song. We do this song. It's You I Like. That Fred Rogers wrote. I read. You know, I was doing some research for the album. Apparently, Fred Rogers wanted to be like Irving Berlin or Gershwin. He wanted to be like a great American songbook composer. And there's all these cute little songs in the show that once you sit down and work them out on the piano, you say, oh, that sounds just like I'll Be Seeing You, or that sounds just like, you know, I Love You. And they're all these like almost standard songs, you know, about how to tie your shoes or something.
Yeah.
So they're beautiful. It's a lot of good music there.
Well, it was beautiful. You sang and I was
Thank you.
Man, that's so great, and it's also his legacy, which pushes his legacy to different people who maybe don't know him and say, wait, I thought he was just this guy in a sweater with puppets.
Right, and also Pittsburgh.
And
Mr.
he's from
Rogers
Pittsburgh.
So there you go. And my grandfather was on an episode of the show.
Really?
There you go, full circle.
Now your grandfather's famous. Why? Because he did something with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He wrote the song or the.
Yeah, like the last time the Pirates were any good was 1960, basically. And it was basically Camptown races. And him and Joe Negri, who is Handyman Negri on Mr. Rogers, is a fantastic jazz guitarist. They came together and basically put different lyrics over Camptown races. And, you know, it was the big rallying cry. And that was the year the Pirates walked off in the World Series against the vaunted New York Yankees. So it's been a while.
And now here you are in New York.
Here we are. I know, I'm behind enemy lines now. I'm
living in Harlem, right?
Yeah. I've been here for this month is 10 years. This is my decade in New York.
Wow. So you came here from right after college?
Right from high school. I went to Manhattan School of Music, so that's why I've always been kind of uptown. You know? As a matter of fact, one of my classmates at Manhattan School of Music lives in this building with you, so he's a pianist.
Oh wow, yeah. By the way, we live in an artist building. I live in an artist building here with many amazing jazz musicians and dancers and Broadway people and models, and it's amazing to be in this building. And just do all that. Now, this is an interesting quote that I read. It said, Benack doesn't make a distinction between his singing voice and his trumpet, though. But to me, it's really kind of one voice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't make the distinction because other people make the distinction for me. Without fail, anytime somebody comes to a performance of mine, people are like getting in line, they want to buy a CD or something. One person comes up and says, you know, you really should sing more. We came to hear your voice and you played all that trumpet. I wanted you to sing more. And then the next person behind them in line says, why didn't you play more trumpet? You're just singing all the time. I thought you were a trumpet player. You know, so it's like I gave up a long time ago trying to, you know, to say who I am. I mean, you know, who was Chet Baker? Was he a trumpet player who sang? Was he a great singer that played a little, you know? So I kind of leave it up for other people to decide. But what I mean by one voice is just that I don't flip a switch and have some different mentality, whether I'm singing or playing trumpet. It's all kind of coming from the same source, you know?
But I did read that you said at one point you made a conscious decision that you wanted to be known as a musician before a vocalist. And you sort of put the vocals to the side to really focus on being a musician.
Yeah.
Being respected for that.
Yeah, I mean, in the jazz, you know, the jazz community, the jazz circles, they can be catty. They can be, you know, they can be a little vicious there. If you can imagine. If you can imagine.
42 years in theater, I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. So, you know, I didn't want everybody to come in and say, oh, here's this hotshot, you know, kid in a fitted suit that thinks he's a singer or whatever. You know, I just was like, let me lay in the back row, maybe in the trumpet section, you know, get some street cred first. And then, you know, slowly but surely, you know, the peacocking began and the pocket squares came out and, you know, then we were off to the races.
And he's looking good in his fitted suit.
Well, I had to keep up with our host here. Come on.
So now tell me about, obviously we all know COVID happened. And literally in a week's time, the world changed. We heard about it. We never thought in a million years. And I've asked this to some of the other guests. Like someone said to me, if your art is all about being on stage with an audience, and now there's no stage and no audience, who are you as an artist? And I thought, oh, oops, that's wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I've been in this business 42 years as a full-time, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Very lucky to do only what I want to do. But as an artist, you're ever changing. But this has been really intense. So how has it sort of changed your approach to your art? I know you're out on the street playing. You're going to be playing tonight.
Yeah,
you're playing every time I pick up Instagram, and you got to follow this guy on Instagram. Man. He's amazing, and the thing I love about you on social networks is that you're very positive. Like there are some that are just, it's all negative, sure. And there's so much, but you're very positive. I always try to come from a positive place. So tell me how that's affected your art and where you're going. And
yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody that comes to the Rumpus Room and sits down, you know, you hear a lot of the similar sentiments, but like you said, trying to remain positive and upbeat, and it was definitely hard in March and April and May when we were all literally not leaving the house, you know, save for a trip to the grocery store or whatever. That was really tough, but for a lot of the jazz musicians, everything I saw on Facebook that month was, which microphone is the best for home recording and which program do you use for video editing? And you have all these fabulous, you know, the ring lights. Now I'm like an expert. I'm like, oh yes, a ring light here to catch the lighting here. Oh yes, what lens is that on that camera there? I see. You know, we all kind of had to become amateur, you know, videographers and sound engineers. And that was cool for a little bit. Those were good skills, you know, for us all to cultivate because everybody's, you know, flying in their own tracks.
By the way, I messaged you on Instagram and said, what mic are you using?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did have that conversation.
Because I was like, oh, I'm a producer, I'm a writer, and
so
like
crazy.
Now I have to do this, but you really helped. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, so again, case in point, I was the same way. I asked somebody else a week before you asked me. So we kind of cultivated these other skills and bided our time, did some live streaming, obviously. And now, as you mentioned, the last kind of month and a half or so in New York, fingers crossed, it's been, you know, at a point where we can do stuff outside. You know, Cuomo hasn't passed any laws. I didn't check Twitter today, but there might be a new law telling me no one in purple striped suits can play on the sidewalk. That might come next. But, you know, being able to just get out and play on the sidewalk for tips, it's very humbling, you know, to kind of be passing around my Venmo and a hat, you know.
You're busking.
Yeah, oh, I'm busking Benny. That's been me this summer. But at the same time, it's like you said, even if it's a sidewalk, there's an audience and that sidewalk becomes the stage. And I would do it for free. I'm sure so many of us would, because
Right.
that's what we miss. That's what we're not whole without that.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
I can't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah.
But what I do as a performer, writer, storyteller, all of that. I mean, that's the only reason you're an artist. To be an artist, that's all that we can imagine doing.
Well, you've been teasing me too. You said you're coming out to one of these sidewalks.
I'm coming out.
I'll bring you your own microphone and a Ziploc bag. I will disinfect it. You can have your own mic. You
Well,
gotta
I
come
see
sing.
people now bring their own windscreens and they
They
pop
do.
them on and then they take them off. I don't know if that's
I
really.
mean, I've had cooties for a long time anyway, so nobody should share my mic. Bring
Well,
your own.
Benny, thank you so much for coming by the Rumpus Room,
Thank
sharing
you
a
for
nice
having me.
cocktail.
This is a great
Having
old
good-
fashioned.
Yeah.
Oh, hi! Welcome to the Bar Cart, the place where we make the cocktails we drink here in the Rumpus Room. Now, on today's show, we enjoyed the Doris Dear Old Fashioned, another favorite drink of mine. Now, it is said that this wonderful, simple cocktail, the Old Fashioned, was invented by a bartender in Louisville, Kentucky at the Pendennis Club in 1881. Now, it's named the Old Fashioned because, well, people wanted to harken back to simpler drinks from the olden days. Well, that sounds like 2020, right? Now, in fact, this is the official cocktail for the city of Louisville, and they celebrate the drink each year doing a fantastic celebration called the Old Fashioned Fortnight. Now, that sounds like Doris needs to be invited there. Now, consulting my Bible of cocktail making, the Esquire drink book from 1956, well, it's an easy cocktail to make consisting of lemon, sugar, whiskey, and bitters. Now, I have to tell you a little something. I was lucky enough to live in Denmark. Yes, and while I was there, I discovered a wonderful liquor called Aquavit. Yes, it's distilled from grain and potatoes, and they add caraway and dill seed, yes, for flavor. It's really marvelous. And what a surprise to find out that Aquavit is used in old fashions in Denmark. So here is my recipe. Drum roll, please, for the Doris Dear Aquavit Old Fashioned. Now, to a shaker filled with ice, add 1.5 ounces of Aquavit. Ooh, oh, I love that smell. It smells so good. Pour that in there. We add 1 ounce of rye whiskey. A little secret ingredient. 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. And a dash of orange angostura bitters. Oh, we'll do 2. Why not? We're living on the edge tonight, aren't we? All right, so we're gonna shake that up. Ooh, that feels good. I haven't worked out through this whole COVID thing. And now we're gonna strain that into a glass with a single large ice cube as not to dilute it. Ooh, smells really good. And then we just drop in a little piece of orange peel. Well, cheers. Well, I hope you enjoyed your stay in the Rumpus Room today. You know, I do love when friends drop by and, well, we share some fun and ideas and, well, we bring some joy to the world around us. Now, don't forget, head over to www.dorisdear.com/girl-talk for all the recipes and hints from today's show. I do hope you'll drop by the Rumpus Room again for more Doris Dear's Girl Talk. Stay safe. And hugs and love from Doris Dear. And remember, a dress doesn't get you anywhere. It's the life you live in the dress that matters. Skull! Where's the Little Mermaid?
It's Doris Dear. She's that girl on the street. She'll show up with a sweet